Meenakshi, Sial, and Mrs. Sarika take this opportunity to present webinar on the topic Early Childhood Care and Education in context of NEP 2020. Thank you, ma'am, for giving this opportunity. Before talking about ECCE, we must know what is NEP 2020. स्वामी विवेकानंद जी ने कहा था कि हमें ऐसी शिक्षा चाहिए कि जिससे चरित्र का निर्माण हो, मन की शांति बढ़े, बुद्धि का विकास हो और मनुष्य अपने पैर पर खड़ा हो सके. Apparently, this policy looks that it has all the features. The National Education Policy envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contributes directly to the transforming India that is Bharat by providing high quality education to all and thereby making India a global knowledge superpower. The policy envisages that the curriculum and the pedagogy of our institutions must develop among the students a deep sense of respect towards the fundamental duties and constitutional values bonding with the one's country, and a conscious awareness of one's role and responsibilities in a changing world. So the school education policy envisages that the extent 10+2 structure in school education will be modified with the new pedagogical and curricular restructuring of 5+3+4, 5+3, 3+4, covering ages 3 to 18 as shown in the figure. Like earlier it was from 10+2 and the age was 6 to 16. One stage, and the second stage was 16 to 18. But here it has a foundational stage that is from 0 to 3, then 3 to 8 years, and the preparatory stage is from classes 3rd to 5th, and age group is 8 to 11. Then the age group of 11 to 14, and the classes will include 6 to 8. And the last stage, that is secondary stage, 9th to 12th, that is ages 14 to 18. So let's have a quick look on the NEP. NEP in a glance. Union Cabinet of India approved the new education policy on 29 July 2020, 5+3+3+4 in place of 10+2. Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan is the chairperson of NEP 2020. Prime Minister will head National Education Commission to be founded as per NEP 2020. Please listen carefully because we are going to ask the questions at the end of this webinar. After 34 years, the new education policy is adopted. Parak is the name of the assessment body which will redesign standards for board exams for class 10th and +2. NCERT will prepare National Curriculum Framework. Full form of NCERT is National Council of Education, Research and Training. 3 to 18 years age group of children is covered in the new system as per NEP 2020. Free, safe, high quality ECCE will be made available through Balvatika, Anganwadi or preschool. According to NEP 2020, the teachers will use mother tongue, regional language as medium of instructions up to 5th class. On Diksha platform, affordable, high quality and energized textbooks will be provided along with free digital version. Swayam and Diksha are the online education platforms. The NEP emphasizes teachers to be the part at the center of the fundamental reforms in the education system. Minimum 50 hours of CPD, that is continuous professional development, will be required annually for empowering teachers per NEP 2020. in the form of Samajak Chetna Kendra, the unutilized capacity of schools be used to promote social, intellectual, and voluntary activities as per NEP 2020. Senior secondary stage is not the part of transforming curricular and pedagogical structure of NEP 2020. MOHFW, that is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. MOHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development. MOWCD, Ministry of Women and Child Development. MOTA, Ministry of Tribal Affairs. All will complement free access to ECCE as per NEP. 2 crores out of school children will be brought back as per NEP 22. Year ending assessment principle is not included in NEP. NCP FECCE, that will be aligned with the latest research on ECCE and national and international best practices. Socratic pedagogy is not a part of transforming teaching learning process as per NEP 2020. Gender Inclusion Fund is the separate fund that is allocated for inclusion of women and transgender people in NEP. In tribal areas, ECCE will be implemented in ashram shalas in a phased manner. So, according to NEP, learning should be holistic, integrated, enjoyable, and engaging. Now, let's know some new terminology and their abbreviations. NEP, as you know, we are using it from the starting. That is National Education Policy. ECCE is Early Childhood Care and Education. NCPF, National Curricular and Pedagogical Framework. Diksha, Digital Infrastructure for Knowledge Sharing. NHERC, National Higher Education Regularly Council. NCP FECCE, a national curricular and pedagogical framework for early childhood care and education. GDP, Gross Domestic Product. CPD, Content Development. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. NMM, National Mission for Mentoring. MOHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development. MOWCD, Ministry of Women and Child Development. FLN, Foundational Literacy and Numeracy. WCD, Women and Child Development. And HFW, Health and Family Welfare. Now, moving to the main topic of the day, that is ECCE, Early Childhood Care and Education, the foundation of learning. Over 85% of child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6, indicating the critical importance of appropriate care and stimulation of the brain in the early years in order to ensure healthy brain development and growth. Presently, quality ECC is not available to crores of young children, particularly children from socio-economically disadvantaged backgrounds. Strong investment in ECCE has the potential to give all young children such access, enabling them to participate and flourish in the educational system throughout their lives. Universal provisioning of quality early childhood development care and education must thus be achieved as soon as possible and no later than 2030 to ensure that all students entering grade 1 are school ready. You must have noticed that the children, small children, they are well equipped with the mobile phones and all. और हम हमेशा कहते हैं कि अरे इन छोटे छोटे बच्चों को इतना कुछ आता है, शायद हमसे भी ज्यादा, because they are so well equipped with that, because उनकी brain development है और वो 80% तक हो चुकी होती है. Even the parents of our class, in our classes, मैम अभी बहुत छोटा है, अब ये कैसे करेगा? So we should tell them that it is like 85% is brain is already developed, and the first 5 years have so much to do with how the next 80 turn out. So it's very important to teach them. The foundation should be very strong. Next point. ECCE ideally consists of flexible, multifaceted, multi-level, play-based, activity-based, and inquiry-based learning, comprising of alphabets, languages, numbers, counting, colors, shapes, indoor and outdoor play, puzzles and logical thinking, problem solving, drawing, painting, and other visual art, craft, drama, and puppetry, music and moment. It also includes a focus on developing social capacities, sensitivity, good behavior, courtesy, ethics, personal and public cleanliness, teamwork, and cooperation. The overall aim of ECCE will be to attain optimal outcomes in the domains of physical and motor development, cognitive development, socio-emotional, ethical development, culture or artistic development, and the development of communication and early language literacy and numeracy. So the children are saying, tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. Next point, a national curricular and pedagogical framework for early childhood care and education for children up to age of 8 will be developed by NCERT in two parts, namely a sub-framework for 0 to 3 years old and a sub-framework for 3 to 8 years old. Aligned with the above guidelines, the latest research on ECCE and national and international best practices, in particular, the numerous rich local traditions of India developed over millennia in ECCE, involving art, stories, poetry, games, songs, and more, will also be suitably incorporated. The children you teach may not remember, बिकॉज बच्चे बहुत छोटे होते हैं तो उनको अपनी छोटी वाली टाइम की टीचर्स का याद नहीं रहता, बट द चिल्ड्रन यू टीच मे नॉट रिमेंबर यू व्हेन दे गेट ओल्डर, बट दे विल ऑलवेज हैव अ पार्ट ऑफ यू इनसाइड ऑफ देम, the part that gave them hope and love and taught them to believe in themselves. Next point. The overarching goal will be to ensure universal access to high quality ECCE across the country in a phased manner. Special attention and priority will be given to the districts and the location that are particularly socio-economically disadvantaged. ECC shall be delivered through institutions consisting of standalone Anganwadis co-located with primary schools, pre-primary schools, sections covering at least age 5 to 6 years co-located with existing primary schools, and standalone preschools, all of which would recruit workers or teachers specially trained in the curriculum and pedagogy of ECCE. It takes a big heart to help shape little minds. Next point. For universal access to ECC, Anganwadi centers will be strengthened with high quality infrastructure, play equipment, and well-trained Anganwadi workers or teachers. Every Anganwadi will have a well-ventilated, well-designed, child-friendly, and well-constructed building with an enriched learning environment. Children in Anganwadi centers shall take an activity-filled tours and meet the teachers and students of their local primary schools in order to make the transition from Anganwadi centers to primary schools a smooth one. If a child cannot learn in the way we teach, we must teach in a way the child can learn. So the teachers have to be well equipped in teaching small children. Next point. It is envisaged that prior to the age of 5, every child will move to a preparatory class or Balvatika, that is before class 1, which has an ECC qualified teacher. The learning in a preparatory class shall be based primarily on play-based learning with a focus on developing cognitive, affective, and psychomotor abilities and early literacy and numeracy. The midday meal program shall also be extended to the preparatory classes in primary schools. Health checkups and growth monitoring that are available in the Anganwadi systems shall also be made available to the preparatory class students of Anganwadi as well as of primary schools. And play is often talked about as if I were a relief from serious learning, but for children, play is a serious learning. Next point. To prepare an initial cadre of high quality ECCE teachers in Anganwadis, current Anganwadi workers will be trained through a framework developed by NCERT. Anganwadi workers or the teachers with qualifications of 10 plus 2 and above shall be given a 6 months diploma, and the teachers who are having below plus 2, they will be giving a 1 year diploma. And these programs may be run through digital or the distance made using DTH channel as well as the smartphones, allowing teachers to acquire ECCE qualifications with minimal disruptions of their current work. The ECCE training of Anganwadi workers will be mentored by the cluster resource centers of the school education department, which shall hold at least one monthly contact class for continuous assessment. We may not be able to prepare the future for our children, but we can at least prepare our children for the future. Next point. ECCE will also be introduced in ashram shalas, in tribal dominated areas, and in all formats of alternative schooling in a phased manner. The process for integration and implementation of ECC in ashram shalas and alternative schooling will be similar to the detailed above. Education is a battle against poverty that everyone should fight. Last point. The responsibility for ECCE curriculum and pedagogy will be with MHRD to ensure the community from pre-primary school through primary school and to ensure due attention to be foundational aspects of education. The planning and the implementation of early childhood care and education curriculum will be carried out jointly by the ministries of HRD, Women and Child Development, that is WCD, and by HFW and Tribal Affairs. A special joint task force will be constituted for continuous guidance of the smooth integrations of early childhood care and education into school education. As in the words of Mr. Modi, our Prime Minister, if there is an education, there will be everything in life. Government can make roads, hospitals, and also construct school buildings, but your homes can brighten up only if your children are educated. And I'm confident that if we focus on education, our society will certainly develop. Now, we will see what ECCE means for educators, parents, or for students. Now I'll take the first point, that is curriculum and pedagogy, like what it means for the teachers, educators, and or students and the parents. As I told you, that it means that policy includes that the time child is born, means from 0 to 3 and then 3 to 8 years and up to 3 years in one section, and then the subframe when the child enters in the age of 3, and another framework is made, so 3 to 8 years. Now the class 1 and 2 is also included. And for educators, they have to follow curriculum and framework formed by NCERT, developed on the basis of latest research on the ECCE. and national and international best practices. Now, for the parents, a professionally designed and administrated ECCE curriculum will ensure holistic development. And for the students, art, stories, poetry, and songs incorporated in curriculum will familiarize from about the rich local traditions of India. Then the overall aim of ECCE will be to attain optimal outcomes in the domains of physical and motor development, cognitive development, socio-emotional, ethical development, cultural and artistic development, and the development of communication and early language, literacy and numeracy. So for educators, it is design of curriculum and pedagogy should be play and activity based, as I already told you, and discovery based. And they should also make the their character building should be there. I mean, mental health is also very important. And for the parents, focus on overall development of children, including physical and motor skills, and also emotional and cognitive, artistic and communication skills. That means the 360-degree development should be there. For the students, the learning will be enjoyable. Indoor, outdoor plays, and visual art that consists of drama, puppetry, music, and moment. Then next is on the curricular side, for teaching FLN, and for the educators, the teachers can access a national repository of high quality resources on fundamental literacy and numeracy on the National Teachers Portal. So that means one country, one education. So national portal पे सब कुछ available होगा. And for the students, regular events throughout the year and dedicated specific hours every day will be planned to excite and engage students in reading, writing, speaking, and counting. As at the current time, with the lack of universal access to the ECCE, a large proportion of children fall behind already within the first few weeks of grade 1. And in term 3-month play-based school preparation module for all grade 1 students will be developed by the NCERT and SCERT in order to ensure that all children are school ready. So for the educators, it will be that they have to implement an on interim 3-month play-based school preparation module, and for all the grade 1 students developed by NCERT. And for the parents, they will collaborate with school and peers for play-based module. And for the students, learning all consists activities and workbooks around the learning of alphabets, sounds, writing, speaking, and counting. So next thing, that is teacher training. So how it will work, next point is, as I already told you that the Anganwadi teachers who are 10+2, they have to do 6-month diploma, and for the teachers who are under +2, they have to do 1-year diploma. And then the ECC training of Anganwadi will be mentored by the cluster resource centers of the school education department. And for the educators that train ECC teachers through systematic efforts and as per curricular or the pedagogical framework developed by NCERT with minimal disruption of their current work. Means they in-service teachers will be taking these diplomas. High quality for the parents, high quality ECC teachers will provide enjoyable and age-appropriate education to children. Special attention will be given to the employing local teachers and female teachers. They will give more stress for the pre-primary teachers should be female teachers, and especially in the disadvantages areas and areas with the large pupil to teacher ratios or high rates of literacy. Means PTR will be considered. You know, what is the pupil teacher ratio? Means they have suggested the 30:1, 30 students and 1 teacher will be ensured the level of each student, but for where the social economical disadvantages there, so PTR may differ. That can be under maybe 15:20:1. Then for educators, fill in the teacher vacancies in a time-bound manner. For parents, quality education with ideal pupil-teacher ratio. And for the students, no child is left behind in foundation literacy and numeracy. In the longer term, state governments shall prepare cadres of professionally qualified teachers, educators for early childhood education through state-specific professional training, mentoring mechanisms, and career mapping in order to generate demand for ECC among all stakeholders, including policymakers, parents, teachers, and community members. So for the teachers, focus on capacity building of ECC teachers and their continuous professional development to deliver the curricular pedagogical ECC framework developed by NCERT. And for the parents, qualified and the trained educators will provide enjoyable and age-appropriate education to the children. Next is infrastructure. What kind of infrastructure will be there? Every Anganwadi must have a well-ventilated, well-designed, child-friendly and well-constructed building with an enriched learning environment. Funds for the program will be provided by the central and state government. Strengthen for the teachers, strengthen and upgrade preschools with the high-quality infrastructure, play equipment and well-trained workers for the teachers. For the parents, professionally designed and ECCE centers will be child-friendly and have child-appropriate infrastructure. Change in governance. The responsibility, next point is change in governance. The responsibility for ECC curriculum and pedagogy will lie with the MHRD to ensure continuity of curriculum and pedagogy from pre-primary school to primary school and to ensure due attention to the foundational aspect of education. So the ministries of HRD and WCD and HFW and tribal affairs will see to this soon. And for the teacher, the inclusion of ECC in MHRD will ensure full integration of ECCE into school education and enable learning continuity to children. And for the parents, integration of early childhood care and education in K-12. K-12 means pre-nursery to +2. Learning continuum will enable children to derive the full benefit of school education. And trained and qualified social workers from the civil society organization of social justice and empowerment could be connected to the school through various innovative mechanisms to be adopted by state or the UT governments. If every literate member of the community could commit to teaching one student or a person how to read, it would change the country's landscape very quickly. This mission will be highly encouraged and supported. So they will be connecting to the NGOs for the volunteers. So for the educators, public-private partnerships and collaboration with NGOs, volunteers will enable upgrade teaching learning standards across the board and address shortage of qualified teacher. And for the parents, immense benefits for children from promotion of foundational literacy and numeracy nationwide.
Meenakshi, we should start the meeting again.
Okay. Teachers, please leave the session and join it again with the same link. So, ma'am, please share the link again.
Okay, ma'am.
I think on the WhatsApp it's there. You can start with that.